Fox News, I'm Carmen Roberts. President Trump says U.S. strikes on Iran will intensify next week, telling Fox News.
We're going to knock out all their power plants. We're going to knock out all their bridges unless they get to the table and negotiate.
And Iran continues retaliating, launching attacks on Gulf nations hosting U.S. forces, despite 5 straight days of American airstrikes, including today's daylight strikes, which followed Iranian attacks on commercial shipping. In the Senate,
I'm proud of what we've done to help American families see safer streets and to have a fair shot at the life they're working to build.
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche faced tough questions in his Senate confirmation hearing, including over the Epstein files. He says the mistaken release of unredacted victims' names was corrected as quickly as possible. He has been a staunch ally of President Trump. America's listening to Fox News.
Mark Dalton here with Terry Volkswagen. Get ready to fall head over heels for the perfect VW SUV. One size doesn't fit all, though, and that's why Volkswagen has an SUV for everyone. From the compact and affordable Volkswagen Taos to the tech-packed Tiguan and the spacious Volkswagen Atlas. No matter which one fits your lifestyle, you'll love the comfort, performance, and safety. Stop by Terry Volkswagen on Forest Road in Lynchburg or check us out online at terryvw.com. Terry Volkswagen. You'll love our cars.
Your pet is missing. That sudden panic, the racing questions, the worry of what could happen. It's overwhelming. Petco Love Lost is here to help. This free, nonprofit-powered service uses photo matching technology to search the largest national lost and found pet database, including pets from shelters, neighbors, and social media, helping bring pets back to the people who love them. And it works. Every day, Petco Love Lost reunites pets with their families. A reunion happens every 4 minutes. Simply upload a photo of your lost pet or one you found, and Petco Love Lost's photo matching technology goes to work instantly. You can even register your pet in advance, so if the unthinkable happens, reporting them lost and helping bring them home is as easy as the click of a button. Every pet deserves a way home. Visit PetcoLoveLost.org to register your pet or upload a photo and search for a lost or found pet today.
America 250 is a great time to reflect on our country's past, present, and insane savings. BTRN's InsaneRadioDeals.com is celebrating 250 years of America with 25.0% off of everything. This includes savings on Hill City Howlers, food vouchers, and tickets, both general public and premium reserve. These tickets are eligible to be used at any game. The InsaneRadioDeals.com America 250 sale, 25.0% off of our entire inventory. Now until August 1st, you will not want to miss it.
You're stepping into the fast lane on the VTRN Sports app, 93.3 FM and 1320 AM Lynchburg, and asking your smart speaker, open VTRN Sports Lynchburg. Now, take the fast lane through the topics that matter across the Commonwealth. This is the Fast Lane with Ed Lane and JJ Hendrickson.
Just when you think it couldn't get any more wild in the FIFA World Cup, just when you think you had seen all the heartbreak or miraculous comebacks that you could have imagined, it happened again to England again. They had a 1-0 lead against Argentina. Throughout the majority of the second half, they had a goal in the 55th minute. They carried that for a good exact half hour before it was tied by Fernandez of Argentina at the 85th minute. And then Messi sets up Martinez 2 minutes into stoppage time, and victory snatched from the jaws of defeat for Argentina. And once again, it is not coming home for England. And what's really a painful way to lose a World Cup, but if you actually look at the way the second half unfolded, even with England getting the early goal, it felt like and looked like, again, novice soccer fan coming in, Argentina dominated time of possession. About 2/3 of the ball was held by the Argentinians. They had twice as many shots and shots on target as England did, and they were really in a much better position to capitalize over a period of time. 6-1 advantage in corner kicks. I'm rattling all those stats and that information off because, for England, you wanted to play a defensive level, but it doesn't seem like they quite had the schematics plus personnel the way that Argentina did. And a game that started out what looked like, at least to me, novice soccer fan here, as more of a physical affair, turned into one that was, yes, that, but also one where Argentina kept their foot on the gas pedal and they get a Cinderella-style victory and to keep the dream alive of back-to-back World Cup championships and what is certain to be the final World Cup for Lionel Messi. So where did I get that recap wrong? Where was I correct? We don't need to go to the sound effects or the press conferences. We go to our very own JJ Soccer Aficionado Hendrickson. JJ, give me a grade on my assessment of what just transpired in the latest, wildest World Cup matchup with one more remaining between Argentina and Spain coming up Sunday afternoon.
Ed, I give you a solid A for that analysis. I agree with pretty much everything that you just said. We did just go final right before the show started, so I'm still trying to get my heart rate down a little bit. What a game. What an atmosphere. Unbelievable scenes. England with the big goal. Anthony Gordon got the first one, who, let me just say, has been unbelievable for them throughout the whole tournament. The newly acquired Barcelona winger scored the first goal for England. And once that happened, it kind of felt like England was going to be able to go into what they did at Estadio Azteca. They're going to just sit back. They're going to defend cross after cross, send in Big Dan Burn to send the headers out from the box. But it's a lot easier to do when you're playing Mexico and not the greatest player to ever walk the field. And I said yesterday when I changed my prediction to England, it makes me a little nervous to pick against Lionel Messi with just how great he is. And he came through with 2 huge assists, created both the goals for Argentina, and he's going to have a chance to play in his second straight World Cup final and could maybe go back-to-back for the first time. And I don't think a team's done it since the 1950s or 60s, Ed.
That's much more your alley than it is mine in terms of the last back-to-back World Cup champion. But what they did was impressive. 2 things, and how much of this, I need you to come in and give me kind of your more expertise take. How much of this was England going into, I'm going to try not to vomit right here in the fast lane. I'm going to cover my mouth in case something comes out. But the dreaded prevent defense, which, yes, it is vomit-inducing for those of us that watch football. It's the most passive way to try to protect the lead, and it almost always ends up putting you in a more perilous situation. How much of it was that? How much of it was Argentina really being the better team? And even though they gave up a goal in the 55th minute, they still, by and large, were the team that possessed and created more opportunities, and eventually the dam broke.
Yeah, it did feel like Argentina was generally in control of this game. And then England, they nicked the goal on a counterattack, crossed to the back post. Beautiful finish. And it's a common saying in soccer that goals change games. And we really saw it here. England, I think they were confident they were going to be able to see out that 1-0 lead. Like you said, they went into the prevent defense, just sitting back. And that allowed Argentina to make changes, go all out attacking. They took out their left back, Tagliafico, for an attacker, and Lautaro Martinez, who actually ended up being the one who scored the winning goal in the 92nd minute. So England sitting back did allow Argentina to just keep going forward and forward. But at the same time, they're not trying to just sit at 1-0 necessarily, because when you sit back like that, you open yourself up to play on the counterattack. And that's something they were hoping to do, I think. They just never really got the opportunity. When that happens, you just have to hope you cling to the lead, and they were not able to do so. Beautiful finish by Enzo Fernandez for the first goal. And a moment of brilliance like that is something that can be that prevent defense. And once that momentum was going in that direction, Argentina had more attackers on the field. England had more defenders. They had to just kind of see out the 90 minutes and regroup in extra time, and they just weren't able to do so.
So we saw this with Morocco and Argentina. We just saw it today, England against Argentina. There are other matchups that come to mind. Senegal versus Belgium is another one that's just off the top. You could fill me in on ones that I'm missing, JJ. Pardon me for not being able to remember all of them. But when you have a 1-goal lead and go into the prevent defense, how much of that does not account for the fact that not only can you give up a tying goal, but once that happens, the entire momentum flips on its head. And even though the teams maybe nodded at one, the team that just nodded it up, that tied the game, they're in a really aggressive spot. They have that momentum moving forward. They have not only that, but they have the aggressive mindset. The other team, there is no momentum in their side. They also have to deal with the fact that they've just been deflated from a victory turning into an uncertain outcome. And that is an unstated element of what happens with the, again, try not to vomit here, but the prevent defense in soccer.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. That's why I'm a firm believer. If you score your first goal, especially early, I'd say in the first hour of the game or so, it is crucial that you make sure you try and go forward and get that second goal. Because like you said, if the other team equalizes, then it's a level playing field and they suddenly hold all the momentum. This is something that we'd seen actually kind of hurt Argentina in their run to this point. Against Cape Verde, it happened twice. They were up 1-0. Cape Verde equalized. Felt like that turned the game on his head. They went up 2-1. Cape Verde equalized again with the goal of the tournament, 2-2. And it felt like they have all the momentum established. It happened against Switzerland. They go up 1-0 and they just feel confident that they're able to hold it. But as soon as that fails, it turns the game on its head. And suddenly you're scrambling to get back. Fortunately for them against Switzerland, they had the benefit of the red card to kind of kill that momentum. But yeah, I fully agree with that, Ed. Getting the second goal is so important if you score the early first one, because the momentum shift for an equalizer is just something that it's really hard to come back from. And that's what killed England today. Argentina, you got to give credit to them. They stayed with it, and they ended up scoring 2 goals in 7 minutes to win it. Something, just an unbelievable finish, an all-time World Cup semifinal tie. And England just once again was not able to exercise the Argentina demons. They go out to them in another classic match one more time.
No, it was absolutely a thrilling finish for sure. But England, once again, going to be left with a lot of what ifs and what's going to be a battle of different dialects in the Spanish-speaking language on Sunday. Argentina against Spain. Meanwhile, we're here at the ACC kickoff in Charlotte. Thankfully, the match between Argentina and England literally went final as the new bumper music was playing that features J.J. Hendrickson's name in addition to mine here in the fast lane. But what we also have coming up is at about 5:25 today, we'll hear from Bo Pribula, the Virginia quarterback, and their head coach, Tony Elliott. Then around 5:40, we'll hear from Cam Robinson, the linebacker, and Mikhail Boley, the offensive tackle for the Hoos. But Commissioner Jim Phillips spoke with the media earlier today, and now if we have it ready, you can give me the thumbs up, JJ. A little fast 5 at 5-ish.
Nope.
We'll get it in a moment. I threw a pump fake to J.J. Hendrickson on that.
5-ish minutes on 5 relevant topics done around 5 p.m.-ish. Ish, because our counting skills are kind of ish. Let's start with number 5.
So a number of things that Jim Phillips mentioned in his introductory to the event press conference today. One of them is supporting the new 5-for-5 eligibility model and criticizing the multiple touch points of litigation that comes whenever someone is trying to extract an extra year of eligibility. I found it fascinating that Jim Phillips was understanding of why people do that you've got a chance to have everything catered to you in terms of being a Division I athlete and all of the needs that you might have, not to mention you're compensated very well, which is something that didn't happen in prior eras. But he really cited 2 exceptions to where that 5 years to play 5 years rule comes in, one of them being religious exemptions. The other is pregnancy. I think that probably hits the biggest points that pop up. Religious, not really as big in the ACC as it is the Big 12 with Utah and BYU and the Mormon mission, the 2-year LDS missions, but found that one to be a fascinating reason. I'm with them in theory. I wonder if it's a little, I wouldn't say Pollyannish, but hard to attain considering that litigation, in fact, is a reality going forward. Meanwhile,
Number 4.
Jim Phillips, one of his 2 big quotes was, quote, "We want this conference to be a place where they want to be, not have to be," end quote. And I think that's probably the right tone in the sense of the fact that you've had 2 schools in Clemson and Florida State who actively sued to try to get out of the conference and ultimately at least got the buyout reduced to $75 million starting around 2030. And you've got others that have reportedly sniffed around on that particular idea and possibility. But if you're talking about from the ACC standpoint, I think it's also the fact that you kind of have to cater to those members because they're the ones that are bringing you the most eyeballs in the current realm. And frankly, if there's ever any kind of separation where conferences exist as opposed to just one giant super league, which who knows where that's going to go, that you're going to end up wanting to be in a spot where, if anything, you have to defer to the haves over the have-nots because the haves are going to be the ones that give you a greater access to more money and power, which leads us into
Number 3.
the college football playoff. Jim Phillips did not staunchly advocate for a 2014 playoff, but he mentioned a couple of times that is essentially the model that they prefer. And I think it's probably the right tone because ESPN, Disney, and ABC, along with the CW, are the media rights entities that involve the ACC. And 3 of them are under one umbrella. And that 3, ESPN, ABC, and Disney, all happen to be the entity that also owns the college football playoffs and wants to keep it at 14 teams as opposed, at 12 teams, maybe 14, but nothing more than that, whereas everyone else is looking for a greater amount of access. I honestly, I like the idea of a bigger playoff. I've said that before. I think you'll still have more schools going from the SEC and the Big Ten. I think any guarantee for Notre Dame at that point just kind of becomes moot, because if they're halfway decent, which they will be, and if they have a difficult time scheduling a lot of power opponents, which they will because of the 9-game conference schedules that are becoming standardized across college football, essentially a good Notre Dame team is going to get in anyway. So that type of debate of last year or the guaranteed spot kind of goes out the window. But Jim Phillips has to toe this dance of not overly criticizing the current playoff structure in favor of a larger one, because you don't want to nuke the bridge with ESPN and ABC, even though that contract extends through 2036. Meanwhile, in
Number 2.
two nuggets on the Virginia-Brazil matchup slated for week 1. One of them is what Jim Phillips mentioned publicly, and that is all the logistics of why this matchup is moving from Brazil to Charlottesville and is staying in week 1. The logistics cited essentially when it comes to Brazil are financial. I mean, let's call a spade, because Jim Phillips mentioned that they like having the season opening game in Ireland this year, Carolina and TCU, that you'll be able to hear week 0, 11:30 airtime that day on the VTRN Sports app. And then next year, Wisconsin against Pitt in another ACC clash. And they've been involved in this matchup in prior years, FSU, Georgia Tech, amongst others. So that's one of the elements to this. But also you factor in the ACC playing games in week 0. That leads us into
Number 1.
which is the fact that Jim Phillips, I had a chance to speak with him before he took the microphone, and he mentioned that, yes, logistically he likes week 0 being the same spot for NC State and Virginia because it keeps their schedules for the season the way they originally planned and mocked them out to be. But he also kind of dropped a nugget to me, which is selfishly, he likes the fact that it keeps them in week 0 where, yes, they will have a bigger TV footprint presence than they would normally have during that time frame. And it keeps the ACC as having 5 teams and 4 matchups in that week 0 time slot. Hawaii, Stanford, Carolina, TCU, 11:30 airtime, week 0, VTRN Sports app, and even Florida State against New Mexico in their season opener as well. So you've got that for the ACC going. Look, we've criticized the ACC and their revenue-generating initiatives or lack thereof. We have had other touch points where we have made fun of the ACC and how they've been perceived. But I think you've got to tip your cap to realizing that this conference at least is looking for that week 0 time slot. It's what's a market inefficiency, which when you're not the SEC and you are not the Big Ten, you need to be looking for those type of hidden angles that you can bring in and say, hey, we can take advantage of that particular angle. Week 0 is one of them, because normally would people really care to watch TCU and North Carolina, given what we saw from the Heels last year? Probably not. Would they normally be excited about Stanford hosting Hawaii, which means it's not the bailout game for all the bettors that are out there? Not as likely. What about New Mexico and Florida State? Hardly, considering neither of those teams have lit the world on fire. But where it comes big is you put all of them together with NC State, Virginia in a big ACC matchup, and you can sit there and go, wow, now there's a set where Virginia and the ACC schools are going to get more attention than they normally would, which is a big positive for them when you're scrapping for extra revenue and extra revenue dollars to go to each school. When we return in the Fast Lane, speaking of the Who's, their quarterback Bo Prabula and their coach Tony Elliott join us next here in the Fast Lane.
Few things are more majestic than nature, as long as it's outside your house. Unfortunately, when wildlife gets inside your chimney, it leads to problems for your chimney and your house. Prevent this problem with Black Goose Chimney Service. They provide one-time solutions to ensure the wildlife stays outside your home. And if you've had wildlife inside your house, Black Goose Chimney Service can deal with the aftermath and make sure they don't return. Call Black Goose Chimney Service and visit them at blackgoose.net.
Big transitions feel like big hurdles. That's why Central Virginia Counseling has 2 dynamic 6-week summer groups for rising 6th and 9th graders packed with essential life skills. Each week targets a new skill for success, tools like organization, time management, task initiation, anxiety reduction techniques, and skills for making friends and communicating well. Through peer connection and expert guidance, students will gain tools to feel capable, connected, and ready for day one. Visit us on Timberlake Road or Wigington Road in Lynchburg or at centralvirginiacounseling.com to learn more.
Hey guys, this is Chad Hassan with ASeaofRed.com. ASeaofRed.com is the #1 trusted independent news source for Flames sports. You can get access to premium content such as the Rumor Mill by becoming an ASeaofRed.com club member for only $84 a year. If you are a diehard Liberty Flames fan and want all the inside scoop along with coverage of recruiting and all the major sporting events over at LU, visit ASeaofRed.com. Go Flames.
Step into the Fast Lane 24/7 at JJ Hendrickson 27 and Fast Lane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Now, back to the Fast Lane.
So as we continue looking ahead to the upcoming ACC football season, and we are back in the groove of things here in the Fast Lane at the ACC kickoff, Beau Pribula, the new quarterback for the Virginia Cavaliers, who's with us here in the Fast Lane. Beau, first of all, thank you for your time. A pleasure to be speaking with you. You're in a competition, but they brought you down here to Charlotte. What kind of indication does that give you about where you stand in the UVA quarterback competition getting ready for the upcoming season?
I'm just getting ready for fall camp. I'm excited to go compete and get ready for the season.
You've been at what's now your third school in 3 years. What attracted you to Virginia?
I think, when I, decided to transfer again, just finding a place that has a good culture, a culture that I fit into well and vice versa. And obviously all those other things as far as, how I fit into the offensive scheme and what that looks like. But I couldn't be more happy to be at Virginia.
Beau Pribula, the Virginia Cavalier quarterback, with us in the Fast Lane. Take us inside the process, really the last 18 months. You're at Penn State, then you're at Missouri, now you're in Virginia. What have you been seeking out of a program that you can give them and that they can give you?
I think what I just said, as far as the culture, and Virginia's on an upward trajectory. Obviously, ACC runner-up last year and bowl champs, and just finding a place, for my last year of college where, I feel like I can, be at my best and make a team be at their best. And I feel like Virginia was a perfect match for that.
What have they done and shown you over the last year or two where maybe they weren't in consideration when you were coming out of high school or even when you were in the transfer portal going from Penn State to Missouri, but now Virginia's got that?
I think what they put on last year, everybody saw all the success that they had last year and just the way that the program and the direction that they're heading under Coach Elliott.
You mentioned Coach Elliott. For Des Kitchens as well, last year and what he was able to do offensively, it looked totally different than what they've been able to execute in prior years. For you at quarterback, how much did you study what he did? How much have you paid attention to what Chandler Morris did at quarterback last year?
A lot. That was a big part of my decision. And, because that's what you're going to be playing in, and I think as far as Des Kitchens and him being my offensive coordinator, it's been awesome because he's such a collaborative offensive coordinator, collaborative OC, and he works so much with me and kind of listens to the suggestions that I have and things that I've ran in the past and incorporates that into the offense. So it's been great working with him.
People have mentioned that, at times he's got his own grounded principles, but yet you just mentioned the collaborative nature of Des Kitchens for what you do and what your skill set is. How much of it has been you adjusting to what he does? How much of it has been he adjusting to you?
I think it's been a fair balance, but at the same time, I think he adjusts a lot to me, and around my skill set and, the things that I like and what I'm comfortable with, because at the end of the day, that's, a big factor. If your quarterback can be comfortable with what you're doing and, can see himself in that scheme, I think that creates a lot of confidence and you can mesh really well with the play caller.
What are you seeking out of yourself this season?
I think just being the best, that I can be, being the best version of myself and just being, just knowing that, hopefully just being able to perform at the way that I know I'm capable of.
What about your capabilities? Where do you view your capabilities?
Where do I view my capabilities?
Yeah, you mentioned what you're capable of. What would you say you're most capable of in terms of being able to maximize your abilities this year?
I think just playing at a high level that I know I can. And for me, that's just being, the best version of me.
Bo Pribula with us here in the fast lane, quarterback for the Virginia Cavaliers. Bo, excuse me for a second, trying to take a sip of water. Clearly can barely do that and talk. Getting the rest of your team up to where they are in terms of speed. The offensive line, they have a new coach with the departure of Coach Heffernan, but a lot of key pieces that are returning as well. What did you notice in spring ball about that particular unit, and if they're in a spot where they can build on what was clearly a step forward for them last year?
Oh, man. The offensive line, they're unbelievable. So experienced, so knowledgeable, such great guys. It makes my job so much easier working with them, just because we have so much experience and they're so talented and so, so old. They're old guys and they've been around the block, and it's been great working with them.
You've been in this spot before where you're new to a program, you assume the QB1 role, and getting people all on the same page with a kind of a lot of moving parts. What did you learn from that process at Missouri that can help you at Virginia in terms of getting a lot of moving parts on the same page now, once camp begins in a couple of weeks, and then certainly as the season begins a little early with that week 0 game?
To be honest, it hasn't been difficult at all. I think we've meshed super well, and it's been a seamless transition, honestly. And that's a big part to that O-line. They make it easier. We have some transfer wide receivers that needed to mesh, but, after spring ball ended and summer started, I feel like that we've been in a great spot, and just continue to be more comfortable with each other. And, I feel like I've been with those guys for much longer than just 6 months, just because of the type of guys that they are.
How much of that involves you taking the initiative for organizing workouts outside of practice, bonding time where it's not just about football, but about doing life with people? How much of that falls on your shoulders?
I think that's a huge responsibility. Like you said, just getting together outside of football and being in a leadership role where you put different workouts together and off-season trainings. That's a huge part of getting the guys to be comfortable with you, and vice versa. I got to be comfortable with them. So, it falls a lot on the quarterback, but at the same time, again, they make it so easy. There's those guys. We're not just, football players together on a football team. We're friends outside of the facility, and we hang out and, watch the FIFA World Cup together yesterday, different things like that, and when you can be friends off the field, it makes you play that much harder, on Saturdays.
Is there added value for the fact that you guys have a week 0 game and then a week to catch your breath and reassess, where you don't technically have preseason football? I know week 0 and against a conference opponent, it's even more different, but you've got that early target, but also a chance to kind of hit the reset button and reevaluate.
Yeah, that's great. If we can prepare all fall camp for week 1 and focus on NC State and that be our focus, and then take a breather after, I think that just like any bye week, it gives you a breather and a chance to reset and look at the rest of the year.
Bo Pribula with us here in the fast lane. Bo, a couple more for you. What do you like to do with your team when you're away other than watching the FIFA World Cup? Hopefully not getting into arguments over who's better.
No, yeah. I mean, just relaxing and going downtown and getting something to eat or hitting the links, going golfing with the guys. Just different things. Anything we can do outside of the facility, really.
Any type of bonding activity that can help you guys have a little fun.
Yeah, I know a lot of the guys on the team like to fish. I'm not a huge fisher, but a lot of the guys like to fish. But we do, like I said, there's a lot of good golfers on the team as well. We got some scratch golfers, some serious guys who can golf on the team, including my quarterback coach, who is a scratch golfer. So I know that we're gonna head out on the golf course as quarterbacks with Coach Lamb, my quarterback coach, soon. So I'm excited for that.
Are you that type of golfer?
I'm not a scratch golfer. No, I'm not really close to that. But hopefully after my football days are over, I can get close to that.
So it sounds like you got your focus in the right spot. If nothing
right.
else.
Yeah.
Bo Pribula with us here in the fast lane. Bo, we'll wrap it up on this one. We've touched on a number of different topics and discussions here in terms of what you have overall, your expectations for this team. And I guess I'll throw a little bit of a curveball in that one. Virginia Tech's at the end of the year. There's familiarity with James Franklin, having been with them at Penn State, and a lot of people from the Penn State program. Is there a little carrot in your eyes because of that? Is there animosity? What's that relationship like?
No, I think, right now for us, it's the focus is on fall camp and focusing on NC State. And like I said at the beginning of the interview, the expectations because of last year are high, but at the same time, we have to take it 1 week at a time. You can't look past anybody.
Bo Pribula, quarterback, Virginia Cavaliers, with us in the Fast Lane. Bo, appreciate your time. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate you.
So we make the transition from Bo Pribula, the quarterback for the Virginia Cavaliers, to the man who elected to bring him in, and Eli Holstein from Pitt as another quarterback option for the Virginia Cavaliers. Tony Elliott is with us. Tony, a pleasure to be speaking with you and seeing you once again here at the ACC kickoff. You ready to declare a QB1 because of that?
Yeah, I mean, internally, I was able to set some direction for the offseason and notify the team and the staff that based off the body of work that Bo was QB1 going into the summer and into fall camp, and we'll continue to compete on the grass. But super excited about both of the young men that you say I brought them in. Well, really, I'm just grateful that they chose UVA. I think transparency in the situation was attractive to them. I think when they did their research, they were intrigued by the culture that we built and really excited about both of those guys. And I think it's a great situation for Virginia because we got, healthy competition by two proven guys.
A lot of guys want to play.
Mhm.
Quarterback's different. You
Yeah.
can't really rotate guys in
That's right.
in an ideal scenario. What were your conversations like with Bo and with Eli in terms of letting them know where they stood in the competition?
Just transparency on the front end, saying, "Hey, we got an open opportunity to come in and compete. We also have a young man returning in our program that's been there for a year, but it's a true competition, and obviously transparent along the way throughout the process, and then at the end, very transparent. Set them down and told them like, this is the direction, this is why I'm doing it. Just trying to." Because again, like these guys, both of them had moved and had some success and then moved and we're looking for a spot. And that's the only way I know how to do things is just be open and honest and transparent with the guys.
In terms of the appeal for Virginia for both of them, how much of what not just Chandler Morris did last year, but what this offense was able to look like with Chandler and with so many other new parts last year, how much of that appealed to Bo and with Eli, but the rest of the players you brought in?
Yeah, I think now the vision everybody can see. I think 3 years ago it was just a vision, right? It was a vision of what it could be, and with a lot of hard work and a lot of sacrifice by a lot of individuals before the young men that are there now have helped bring that vision to life. And I think they see the opportunity to even take it to another level. So I think that's what the appeal is.
Tony Elliott, head coach, Virginia Cavaliers, with us here in the Fast Lane. With success comes obviously departures, including Terry Heffernan on the offensive line. We'll be sharing a chat later with their new head coach, Tavita Pritchard, because he's at Stanford and poached him, if you will, as well as Tyler Jones, your GM.
Yeah.
How have you gone about balancing the fact that with that success comes the inevitable fact that some guys are going to move on?
I mean, isn't that the objective and the goal, right? Like we talk about in a game of football, that the way to win is to put your goals to the side and commit to the team goal. And if the team wins, then everybody has an opportunity to have success. And that's what you saw. The team won. And so now guys that are deserving are given an opportunity, right? And I trust that both of them went through the process the right way. There was transparent communication, and I'm happy for them, right? I mean, you're talking about an offensive line coach that has an opportunity to be a coordinator. That typically doesn't happen, right? So I think that's a testament to a lot of things. It's a testament to his ability, the work that he put in, right? But more importantly, a testament to the players and the work that they put in and the staff, because we have somebody that is desirable. And he's not the only one that had opportunities, to talk to folks about potential job movements, but just happy for him. And same thing with Tyler, right? A great opportunity for him. His end goal is to be an AD, and the position that he's moving to, I think, gives him a great opportunity, maybe on a faster path to get to the seat that he wants to get to. So it's all good. And I'm all about development and promoting and having guys have, and I experienced it, right? So I'm the product of being in an environment where there was a ton of success. So every year, right, I was associated with that success. And so then it brought about opportunities. So then I can't be the head coach that's, not helping guys be able to maximize their future because of their commitment and the sacrifice. So remember now, before Terry has an opportunity to move on, he's fully committed to helping Virginia be the best that it could be. And he did his part. And now it's time for him to be rewarded.
If you're all about development, then, and Coach Elliott, Tony Elliott's with us in the fast lane, how much of your job then is always having lists, always having an idea of who might be replacing people, how you go about that process?
Yeah, so I think you got to have your list, but more importantly, I think that you have to be investing in the folks that are in your organization, right? So we talk about Coach Heffernan transitioning on, but also now there's an opportunity for Joey York to be elevated to the offensive line coach. And now the backstory there is Joey York has been with us from day one. Right. So he's been there day one, kind of in the shadows as an assistant offensive line coach in an analyst position, but he's just as critical to our success as Coach Heffernan. So now he has an opportunity to be elevated. Now I got a backfill, so I got to have a list to replace him. But even before that, there was a transition before Coach Hef, and maybe it wasn't the right time. So I think to answer your question is I have to have a list, but I also have to be investing in the guys in the organization so that if it's feasible and the timing is right and it works out and it makes sense, I can promote from within.
Speaking of that, how much of your job also entails, the financial support? Virginia football has gotten that for player procurement, for Scott Stadium upgrades and changes. How much of what you do, Tony Elliott, is involved in communicating that and staying abreast of what it takes on all those levels for investments?
Yeah, so I think we have a great setup. I'm very fortunate to work for what I believe is the best athletic director in the country, and Dr. Williams, and she understands the landscape, and so she gives me great direction on when she needs me to be involved in those things. She also has great foresight to insulate me and protect me from some of the financial things so that it's not a conflict of interest with my job to be able to coach the players. So it's just a tricky minefield, so to speak, to navigate because, you don't want to step on the wrong toes or say the wrong thing at the wrong time. So you got to have a great support system. And then, with the departure of Tyler, obviously I'm excited about Cody Googler that's coming in to take over that role. And he's very experienced in that world. So he'll give me even greater insight into what it looks like. But we got a really good setup. And it's a combination of not just me, but a lot of folks that are involved in driving just the messaging on the importance of financial investment in this landscape right now.
We do something in the fast lane called Faith Fridays where people discuss their Christian faith, and you've been outspoken about that, more certainly around the unfortunate tragedy on grounds a couple of years ago. But how about your faith? How has it been tested since then as the landscape of college athletics has changed and as Virginia has experienced success during that?
Yeah, I think that naturally when you have adversity, the first thing you're going to think about is your faith because you're asking the questions why. And I think faith is really about why. Like, why do I exist? Why am I here? What's my purpose? What is my platform? What am I going to do? How am I going to impact the world, right? And then tragedy in particular kind of brings that to the forefront. I think where I've been tested now is the handling of success, right? And today in my daily devotion out of 2 Chronicles was reading about King Uzziah and how when he had success, he lost his faith and he started to put his confidence in himself. So I think where I'm being tested is to make sure that I keep the main thing, right? And while we're coming off of a great season, understand that really the circumstance don't matter, right? It doesn't matter if it's tragedy or if it's success. What matters is where you put your why, where you put your faith. And so that's really where I'm tested, is to make sure that I stay humble, right, as a leader, of the organization, to stay committed to the values. And we're going to start tomorrow. We do what we call our Acts meetings, right? And the subliminal message is, for those of the Christian faith, they know that Acts is where the church started, right? And so that's why we say as a program, we want to be known as a program that acts: authentic, connected, transparent service, right? So we'll do our Acts meetings, and the first thing we'll talk about is the guiding principles within our organization. And for me, those guiding principles are motivated by scripture, right? How we talk, life and death's in the power of the tongue, right? Loyalty and commitment to each other. A house divided shall not stand, right? The importance of forgetting what's behind and focusing what's ahead, in Philippians when Paul is talking. So we'll go back to those things. And that's what led to the success. And that's what's going to bring us through the success. And if we desire to have more success, that's going to be the reason. I think the hardest part is when you have success, then you become arrogant, you become prideful, and you put your confidence in yourself. And then the good book tells us that he who exalts himself will be humbled. But then it also tells us that he who humbles himself will be exalted. So the key is staying humble. So that's where I'm tested in my faith is staying committed to being a servant leader, right? And not getting caught up in everybody wanting to serve me or wanting to serve the program because of the success that they're now or that they saw last year, right? Because what brought about the success was the faith and the tragedy. What's going to sustain the success is the faith and success, right? And that's kind of where I am in my journey.
Coach Tony Elliott with us here in the Fast Lane. That's a great way to wrap up our chat today, Tony. Thank you very much for your time. Glad to speak with you, and we'll see you a little bit early with week 0, too.
Yes, sir. Hey, we're going to be in the Fast Lane. We're starting early.
Indeed. Tony Elliott with us here in the Fast Lane. More on the Who's when we return after this.
Lunchtime just got an upgrade. Stop by Macadoo for our $8.95 weekday special and grab a legendary sandwich at an unbeatable price. Choose from your favorite classics, the Coney Island, Betty Bop, Ragtime, or Stogie. Classic sandwiches packed with savory meats and flavors in between fresh bread. Make it a meal by pairing your sandwich with a sidekick, a warm cup of soup, or crispy chips. Great food, cozy vibes, and the best deal in town.
It's time to share great food and fun. Just to be there, the only one. Just to be there at Macadoo's.
We'll see you at the Do's.
Hi, I'm Randy Trost with Trost Law. We've seen a lot since 1982. One new issue is an increasing number of uninsured drivers. Unfortunately, when these drivers are at fault for an accident, there's a higher likelihood that they'll flee from the scene, leaving you with a potential mess. So in shopping for your auto insurance policy, please keep in mind that strong, uninsured motorist coverage can protect you from this headache. And if you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident, call us at 777-HURT and visit trostlaw.com.
Summer is here, and there's no better time to find a place you'll love to call home. Whether you're looking for a cozy apartment, spacious townhome, or a quiet single-family home, Brownstone Properties has options designed for your lifestyle and budget. Enjoy the season with comfort, convenience, and peace of mind. Don't spend another summer searching. Let Brownstone Properties help you find your perfect home today. Visit brownstoneproperties.com or call 434-385-1025.
Brownstone Properties, where home is at the heart of everything we do.
When you walk into Haley's, you see the size and selection of a big box store. Over 19,000 square feet of appliances and mattresses. Leading appliances like KitchenAid, Whirlpool, Maytag, Genair, Speed Queen, GE, and Monogram. And mattresses like Sealy, Serta, and Tempur-Pedic. So what's the difference? A family, locally owned business. And a staff committed to servicing you over the entire life of the product. That means before, during, and well after your purchase. Visit Haley's today, just off Ward Road in Lynchburg. Haley's, quality that counts.
Come join the chat or give us a piece of your mind. JJ Hendrickson 27 and Fastlane Ed Lane on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
So continuing our discussions on the upcoming ACC football season and our coverage at the ACC kickoff presented by Black Goose Chimney Service. Winter will be here soon. Make sure your chimney is ready to go so that that house fire inside your chimney stays inside the chimney and does not spread anywhere in the house. That way you have a nice, cozy house this winter thanks to Black Goose Chimney Service. Somebody that has been cozy in a Virginia uniform for a couple of years now is Cam Robinson, linebacker, edge, if you want to call him that, for the Virginia Cavaliers, who is joining us here at the ACC kickoff. Cam, great to be speaking with you. Appreciate your taking time for us. I don't want to, PTSD, but take us back to the end of the season when you sustained the knee injury. What went through your mind at that point?
What went through my mind? To be honest, I just thought it was over. Like, just going from that, because you don't see too many guys recover from that injury as well. So I say going from that, I really just thought thought it was over.
You mentioned that. Where did you turn next so that you could get back on your feet and get ready for the upcoming season?
I looked at my son one morning, and then I'm just like, this just can't be it. Like, I gotta still have that same goal I had before to where I was gonna get you at. So I just looked at him and I just started attacking the day more.
Did you have that same level of fire as a football player before you had a son?
Yes.
How
sure.
how has that changed it then?
I feel like it changed it more because just seeing him having somebody to take care of every day, like I had to really lock in, like, and it helped me mature once I had him.
How old is he?
9 months.
9 months. Okay.
9
They grow up
months.
fast.
They grow up
You only have one, right?
Yeah, just one.
I got twin 8-year-old boys,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it's a different world the older they get. Cam Robinson with us here for the Virginia Cavaliers. Cam, through the out portion of this past season, you were having one of your best seasons in a football uniform, and certainly at the University of Virginia.
Yeah.
What's your comfort level now and what Coach Radzinski has asked out of you and how you've been deployed in this defense?
I feel like right now I just gotta get back. Once I get from being hurt, I gotta get back to where I was at and then achieve more. So like I feel like, bro, he doesn't really ask for too much. He just asks us to go out there and do our job, learn the playbook, and just execute. So what Roy doing, that gives the players a great opportunity to go do their own job.
You mentioned that not being asked to do too much. Does your role, though, give you more responsibility in terms of dropping into coverage, being used as a rusher, moving you around? Does that require more mental work for you?
I think yeah, because you still at the end of the day, you still got to learn the plays. But what I tell Roy, I just be like, just use me. Like I'm not a regular just backer. Like I can do anything. I can go guard, blitz, do anything I need to do. I'm just a big team player. Whatever the team need me to do for that down, I'm down to do it and gonna do it to the best of my ability.
You've been at Virginia before they really took off. You stuck with Virginia over the last couple of years, and I'm sure finances have been out there and have also been made available to you at UVA. What has motivated you, though, to stick with UVA when I'm sure there are other opportunities that are out there?
I really just believe in Coach Elliott. Like Coach Elliott in the program when he first brought me in, like I don't know, just something about him that just stuck with me. Like, and I just respect him every day. But it was really Coach Elliott.
What about his vision and this staff's vision for you sold you on Virginia being a place where you wanted to not just be, but where you wanted to stay?
I think as far as family, like I look at this university as a family every day coming in. It's the same thing. Everybody friendly. Everybody just so family orientated. So I guess like just seeing that family orientated thing and then coming from my hometown because I have a big family also. So I guess that like just brought me closer and brought me and Coach E connection closer.
In terms of the Virginia experience as well, even with NIL, it seems like getting paid is getting paid, but it's not just about that at the University of Virginia.
Yeah, I wouldn't say like it's just about that. Like at Virginia, you still have all the same principles like respect and everything else. But I feel like here we just such a family orientated thing that like it's just not all about money. Like it's more than about football here. Like Coach E, he do like a little job fair thing for the older guys who might not get a chance at the league, but he gives everybody a chance to meet new people and like connections.
Academics as well. Is that more emphasized at Virginia? I mean, you get pitched on different places and have been. Is that more emphasized at Virginia than it's been in other spots?
Yeah, for sure. Like one thing about they big on academics here at Virginia, but like I feel like with the support we got, with our academic team we got, like it's not so hard for the athletes to stay academic manageable.
Yeah, manage the sports and the business.
Yeah, like it's not. Yeah, our academic team do a great job.
Cam Robinson with us here in the fast lane. Cam, where is the knee right now, health wise?
We getting there.
We getting there.
That's all. Yeah, we getting there. We not too far from being clear.
Are you in a spot where you're comfortable and confident in terms of being ready for the start of the season, even if it's in more of a limited capacity?
Yeah, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. But my goal right now is to for sure play that game. But we're gonna see what the trainers and the doctors say, and then we'll go from there.
Rehab, is that frustrating for you? Physical therapy, getting your knee back. Is there a level of frustration for that?
I say like early on, probably like my first couple months, because I really couldn't do as much on my leg and I really just thought like my leg was never gonna heal. But as time went on and I got stronger, I was able to do more things, run. I started cutting more. So just getting back acclimated.
Have there been moments during the journey of recovering from your injury where you can sit there and go, all right, I see progress. I'm seeing some light at the end of this injury
Yes,
tunnel.
for sure. Yes.
What are those?
I say I just started cutting like last week, and then I cut it again yesterday. So I felt like me seeing that progress from me cutting it just showed me like, all right, I can really do this. Like I just got to get back right a couple more weeks, a little more time off, and then I can get back right.
Do you have to do more afterwards in terms of taking care of your knee,
Yeah.
taking care of it, treatment, all that stuff?
Yes, yes.
Cam Robinson with us here. Cam, last one for you, and we'll wrap it up. You mentioned your son. Is that the primary focus when you're not on what else do you like to do when it's not academics and sports?
I like to do a little bit of everything, like fish, hunt, do a lot of everything.
You're a fisherman too.
Yeah, big family man though, big family.
Outdoor?
Yeah, outdoor. I love outdoors, yeah.
Cam Robinson with us here for the Virginia Cavaliers. Oh, by the way, please forgive me for not. Do you prefer linebacker? Do you prefer edge? What's your preferred
Linebacker,
title?
linebacker.
Linebacker, okay. Linebacker for the Virginia Cavaliers with us in the fast lane. Cam, thank you for your time. Grateful to chat with you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So he transitioned from a man who likes to go after the quarterback to a man who has done a pretty good job learning how to protect quarterbacks. Offensive lineman for the Virginia Cavaliers, Mikhail Boley, now joining us here on the ACC at the ACC kickoff presented by Black Goose Chimney Service. Our coverage continuing here in Charlotte. Mikhail, a pleasure to be speaking with you. Your growth, particularly in pass protection, how much has that been one of the key emphasis points for you from your family, in particular your dad, who was former NFL player Michael Boley, and even outgoing offensive line coach Terry Affernan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, so when I first switched to O-line my senior year, I knew nothing, but I started pass setting and I was good at it. So that was just something that I've always take pride in. And then I came into college, and playing as a first year was a little rough because I hadn't played for a long time. And then when Coach Heff got here, I think Coach Heff was a big reason for my jump in pass pro. Just things that he was able to teach me, things he was able to tell me. Because I mean, he was in the league. He coached with the Bills, coached with the Lions. So he's seen what's great and he's seen what's not. So being able to have that knowledge at your disclosure, like he's in my room, I can go ask him these questions, and so learning from him. And then honestly, just like we talk about in the O-line room, just taking pride in not letting your guy touch the quarterback. Like it doesn't matter how you do it, just do it. Like that's the worst feeling ever, is seeing the guy you're supposed to be blocking hitting the quarterback. Like there's literally no worse feeling as an offensive lineman than that happens. So just taking pride in that.
You mentioned the mental side of things. Was that the biggest adjustment for you?
Yeah, I think for me, mentally, just getting to the point like Coach E would tell me when I was first year, getting to the point where I knew I belonged. Like I knew I belonged at this level. Like being a guy that just switched to O-line my senior year of high school, a guy that didn't get recruited a lot, and Virginia took a chance on me. So I felt a little pressure to make sure that they made the right decision. But yeah.
Mikhail Boley, offensive lineman for the Virginia Cavaliers, with us here in the fast lane. For you on that journey, how much of an asset has your dad been from his NFL experience and being able to see what you have, what you need, and being able to help you learn, particularly as your dad being somebody who tried to get after the quarterback?
Yeah, so it's definitely been helpful. There's times he calls me after every game. He'll tell me exactly what I'm doing wrong, and he won't sugarcoat it, and he'll tell me what I'm doing good. And it's good to have him because, like, he played linebacker, but he obviously came off the edge. Sometimes he blitzed, and he could rush the passer, so they would put him down there. So just knowing, like, learning from him things that worked for him versus offensive lineman and things that worked for offensive lineman versus him, and kind of incorporating that into my game, and also just learning, like, from him how to really watch film on a defensive player. Like, for me, when I first got to college, I didn't really know how to watch film on a guy. Like, I'd had the film up, but I wouldn't really know what I need to look for. So him telling me what I really needed to look for to give me the most advantage I could before the game happened really helps.
Was there a part of you in your journey where you have to go from him being dad and it seems like he's being mean to realizing that he might know what he's talking about?
At least for me, that was never the case. It's always been dad, and he's always came from a loving place. Like, it's never been a problem where he said anything and I'm like, dang, why is he doing this? Because he's always told me he wants better for me. He wants me to do better than whatever he did. He went to the league, he played 9 years, and he did things, but he wants me to learn from every single one of his mistakes and better it.
Mikhail Boley stopping by with us here in the Fast Lane, presented by Black Goose Chimney Service at the ACC kickoff. Mikhail, Terry Heffernan, his departure, crushing for you? What's gone through your mind when you found out he was leaving to become the new offensive coordinator at Stanford?
Yeah, it was definitely crushing because, like I said, I really loved Coach Heff. He was a great coach, a great person, someone that I could talk to on the field, off the field, about anything. And obviously, a lot of us got the call from him that he was taking a job at Stanford, and I was crushed a little bit. But knowing that, like, he's the offensive coordinator at Stanford, like, you got to think about it from that perspective. How many offensive line coaches get the opportunity to go be an offensive coordinator at another school? And that's just like a testament to us, but a testament to him that we were able to do so well that he could get a better opportunity. And we know that he didn't leave out of any hate or any problems. He got a better opportunity, and you can't blame anybody for taking a better opportunity.
You mentioned us. Is that a testament to the fact that it seems like offensive line, there's a different bond where a lot of guys are on the same page and almost have to be?
Yeah, like, our room is always us. There's no me, there's no I. Like, when Hef came in, he brought in the motto, fist, 5 individuals strong together. Like, the O-line cannot work if all 5 are not doing well. One guy is doing bad, everyone's doing bad. Like, that's just the nature of O-line. Like, some positions you can have individual success, like, say, a D lineman. You can have an individual performance. An offensive lineman, say we go out there, 4 people are doing good, and I'm doing horrible. That could be 2 sacks, 2 tackles for losses, and that changes the whole game. So just being unified and having, which is why I think we're now being pretty good, is because we all trust each other and we're all like brothers. Like, we hang out in the locker room all the time, outside of the field. Just having that connection is what makes the O-line great.
We touched on your dad and his role in terms of your development as a player. Mikhail Boley with us here on the Fast Lane. What about his ability to help you navigate the business that has increased from when you started in college football to where it is now, knowing how to sniff out potential, I'll use air quotes for this, agent, nonsense versus who's a legitimate person that's on your side and on your team?
Yeah, I think he's been really helpful. For the most part, he lets me go through the process on my own because he wants me to learn things and know things on my own. But he will give me insight and feedback. Like, my dad went through a little bit of agent struggles when he was in the league, so he knows what it's like. He knows what a bad one looks like, and he knows what a good one should be doing for you. Like, they shouldn't only be doing this, or you should be able to call your agent at any time. You shouldn't call them and they don't answer for a month. So knowing, like, him from his mistakes, he tells me his mistakes. He did this, he did X, Y, and Z. You shouldn't do X, Y, and Z, and you should do this. But for the most part, he lets me navigate it on my own, which I do like. I like being able to do it on my own, but also having a voice in the back that if something does go wrong, okay, you got to stop that, or you got to do this.
We'll wrap it up on this. How instrumental was your dad in terms of realizing that even with the departure of Coach Heffernan, there's value in sticking around at the University of Virginia and building on last year?
I think it was pretty good because, one, we stayed in-house with the O-line coach, which we talked about. Coach Ork. Coach Ork's been here since I've been here. We came in 2022, so knowing a familiar face. And then also, like, my dad was at USM all 4 years before going to the league, and it's like he always tries to tell me, like, if a guy like him can go to the league from USM, not a Power 5 school, from a smaller school, why should I leave a Power 4 program that I'm starting at to go somewhere else?
Great points from Mikhail Boley, offensive line for the Virginia Cavaliers, and with us here in the Fast Lane at the ACC kickoff presented by Black Goose Chimney Service. Mikhail, thank you so much for your time. We're grateful we could connect.
Thank you.
Mikhail Boley with us here to wrap up our chats today here in the Fast Lane. Appreciative of his time, appreciative of yours. If you missed any of those, Fast Lane, Ed Lane, wherever you listen to podcasts, including Facebook Live and YouTube. We're back. Hokies Talk tomorrow here in the Fast Lane.
Thanks for listening to The Fast Lane on VTRN Sports, 93.3 FM, W227 BG Timberlake, and 1320 AM, WVGM Lynchburg.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi.